This is the lost letter to Jon Cotner from Captain Hippie. Dear John, there's not one word that could possibly describe you. I was trying to think of one, but I don't know. Maybe fraud, deceit, blasphemy against Elvis, disgrace. That could be a few of them, but how about evil? John, you're a pimple on the ass of society that's in need of busting. I mean, to come online and say that you have knowledge of the Presley family and about Elvis, and it's almost like Jim Jones saying, no worries, the Kool-Aid is sweetened. Yeah, but it still killed, didn't it? John, you didn't even get the date right on the day he died. You couldn't say what day Elvis died or the date. I heard you. And you know, you talk about the Bible, John, but the Bible says that Satan is the father of lies. We all know you love to lie. And most of all, I believe you love listening to yourself spew those lies. I mean, you believe them to be the truth. Maybe you suffer from diarrhea of the mouth and constipation of the brain. Well, maybe if you had a brain, it would swell to the size of a pea and roll out of your ear, and your sidekick, Sean Warren, will probably come running, frantically running around the floor trying to find that pea, and then when he finds it, try to push it back in. John, you do have an inferiority complex, and it's fully justified. I mean, you're the one that the coat hanger missed. And you know, when you were thinking about it, and you asked your mom, did she tell you that the man down the street where you grew up almost became your dad, but he didn't because the guy behind him had the correct change? Well, I was looking at the picture that the internet leaked of you, and I noticed, John, that you had strong arms, and now I understand why. I mean, John, you have to have strong arms to pull yourself out of an abortion bucket. I mean, usually people with your limited physical appeal try to make up for it with an actual personality. But in your case, it's a fake one. I mean, come on, John. Look at yourself. You're so fat and ugly that when you go camping, Bigfoot takes pictures of you and sells them. And you're ignorant. I mean, you try to act smart, but you're ignorant. And I know that for a fact because I remember one time someone said you saw a sign outside of a theater that said, under 17 not admitted. So you ran back home and got 16 of your friends. I mean, come on, you try to act smart? But when you and Sean Wan walked by the YMCA the other day, you said, look, Sean, Macy's. You're not smart, John. You're not even well-versed. I remember when you found out I was reading the literary works of Homer, and you stopped and said, hey, do you have anything by Bart? I mean, John, if you were smart, and if you had a brain, and your brain was full of dynamite, you wouldn't even have enough to blow your nose. In fact, I did some research, John, and I found out, yeah, you were telling the truth about going to Graceland, and you met Vernon, but you didn't tell us the whole truth. I found a letter that he said that he had met you, and he said to you, little Johnny Cotner, if I were to give you a penny for your intelligence, they'd give you a lot of change back. Yeah, dumb, just like I said. Instead of taking the number 4 bus, you took the number 2 bus twice. And your buddy Sean Warren isn't so bright either, you know. Everybody knows he sent you a fax with a stamp on it. How about the time you and Sean Warren went sightseeing to that island y'all been talking about? And you said, hey, let's sell a camera so we can afford some film. Well, John, before you even had a room on the internet, you thought the internet was something you needed to catch fish with. How about the time you took the Pepsi challenge and you chose Jif? Yeah, real bright. John, you know, when you were a child in Boy Scouts, you were so dumb, you tried all night to wake up a sleeping bag. You couldn't even earn your merit badges as a scout, much less do anything else right. At one time, your fellow scout was drowning and the scoutmasters yelled out for you to get a lifesaver. You said, what flavor, grape or cherry? You couldn't even get a date when you were growing up, John. One of your old girlfriends told me you had bad breath. It was so bad that you had to take prescription Tic Tac. And when you were born, God took one look at you and said, I'm going to have fun with this one. Hold on, John, just 1 second. I'm trying to imagine you with a personality. Can't do it. There's a chance that you'd be less boring if I got to know you, but Jon, I'm willing to not take that chance. You're the best proof, Jon, that reincarnation does occur. Surely no one could get that dumb in just one lifetime. Jon, I have to admit, before I heard of you, I was pro-life. You're living proof that nobody has to be a proctologist to see that you're an asshole, Jon. When you open your mouth, do you ever think about what you're going to say, or do you and Psalm 1 sit there and celebrate the fact that you even had a brain to form a sentence? A guy with an IQ should have a voice that low. All that you owe your parents, well, why don't you just go ahead and send them a penny and square the account? And Jon, I overheard Psalm 1 telling you to be yourself. He couldn't have given you any worse advice, You both are as useless as rubber lips on a woodpecker. Seriously, Jon, no one will ever know you have lobotomy if you wear a wig to hide the scars and learn to control the slobbering. Oh, and I just want to let you know, Jon, don't go be telling people that everybody says you're dumb. They didn't say that. They said that before you were 37 years old, you had to learn how to say goodbye. But Jon, brains aren't everything. In fact, in your case, they're nothing. And Jon, I do have to let you know that people on Powell and YouTube say that you're the perfect idiot. I say that you're not perfect, but you're doing all right. The closest thing, Jon, that you'll ever get to a brainstorm is a slight drizzle. And you know how those women talk about the twinkle in your eyes that they see? Well, it's actually the sun shining between your eyes. Too bad stupidity isn't painful. And you tell your followers that you go to the end of the world for them, but the question is, would you stay there? And I have to let you know, I've been researching you, Jon, and I found out that your family origins are so low that you'd have to limbo under your family tree. And when I look in your eyes, Jon, I see the back of your head. But, Jon, I know how you've been wanting to be like Elvis and be connected to law enforcement and stuff, and in your case, I'm pretty sure you will be soon, but in handcuffs. And you're the kind of person, Jon, that when one first meets you, one doesn't like you, but when one gets to know you better, one hates you. And if your brains were rain, Jon, you'd be a desert. You used to be arrogant and obnoxious, and now you're just the opposite. You're obnoxious and arrogant. And Jon, if crap were music, you'd be a brass band. There's just as much of a chance that you'd be a great singer of me flying to the moon tomorrow for breakfast. And I heard you singing a love song, Jon. Sounds, I don't know, just like casting Tiny Tim as a Terminator. You sing notes that haven't even been invented. If you sung the way you sing now, 2,000 years ago, they would have stoned you. Your voice would make a perfect great sleeping aid, because there ain't anything just as boring as it. So Jon, in closing, I want to say, after reading this, you might say to me, screw you. Well, Jon, I say, no, screw you. It's cheaper.